Hi, good evening. As an editor of the film, there was a lot of footage, archival footage which you've used, which has its own flow and its own speed, etc. So, in terms of deciding the flow of the film and the language of the film, to what extent was it dictated by, because there's an incredible amount of not only photographs, which are then still images, but also his documentary. So how do you work that into your language as an editor? Or was it something that happened very organically, or how much of it was scripted and how much of?
I think eventually everything has to be, you bring all the material down and to the table and you kind of wrestle with it, you put it in place. There's no other way, because you can't plan all these things while shooting. Now, again, this is just a stroke of luck. This film would never have got made. Sukhdev has preserved all these photographs. I mean, imagine from his earliest days of, shooting with, working with Paul Zills, and he's just kept piles of photographs. So there's this amazingly rich collection. So we could actually take those photographs and construct a story, using those. And for his films, like, quite independently of Shabnam, we are Sukhdev fans, all of us. For us, it's like I'll never forget when I saw India 67 for the first time in the FDI theatre. I didn't know. Shabnam was my classmate. I didn't know it was her father. She never told anyone all these things. But the fact is, that, so the need to make a film about Sukhdev and to celebrate his work was very important to me in my own way, and to Pankaj in his own way when he helped her to start the project. So we took the film clips, and also we did a very extended section with India 67, because we really felt it's a film that can take that kind of analysis. It's such a, it really tells you everything about how he made films, or about the time, about so many things, so many aspects. So yeah, some films we really explored, and some films like this, After the Silence, actually it's used in to forward the story rather than for Sukhdev himself. We just thought that it was bouncing off at that point so many ideas about the Kota and about the way he functioned without regard for anybody else. I want to go and shoot here, I'm going to shoot here, I don't care, don't ask me what I'm going to do with the footage. So many things come into it. And then it links up to the emergency, which is the next thing. So yeah, I mean, different films we used in different ways. I think for me, there's one point at which we couldn't figure out how to start the film exactly, what to put in the start. And at one point we said, what, let's just, it's so emotional, that thing with, her mother and her as a baby and him and them saying goodbye. It just seemed like, okay, let's put this clip here and then let's construct from here. Let's go from here. And once we got that, then it came. I mean,
so I remember seeing the documentary on the Bangladesh war in FDI, and at that time it was extremely moving, and I didn't know that there was such a film. And obviously, like most screenings at FDI, it's viewed without any context. We just go in the evening and we go for the screening. But at that time I couldn't help thinking that, is this sort of a propaganda film from the Indian state? Because I really felt good to be Indian at that time. Like, oh wow, we did all this in Bangladesh, and So I was just wondering, now when I watched this film in some context, okay, I was just wondering, was that something that he was commissioned to do? Or?
I know he wasn't commissioned to do it. He went and shot on his own, exactly as Pratap Sharma said. He just got up and said, we've got to do something, we've got to do something. After shooting it, he even released it on his own, because he had trouble with the IMB ministry. They wanted to censor things, and of course he didn't want to do that. So even while there was all this Hindu baby and all going on, I don't think he was great friends with Indira Gandhi at that time. It was post this film that they became really, But so this he did, and he released it on his own. And that's why he got Sunil Dutt to come to the premiere and all that. Then finally he sold it to them. No, actually he didn't. Sorry.
He hasn't?
He has. Now Shabnam and her mom donated it to FD. The copy, right? While we were making this film.
No, donated the copy or donated the copyright?
The copy.
There's a huge
right,
difference.
I think. Yeah, I think it's been given to FD now.
Mr. Kundu, is he around? No.
No, the film is made by Film Division.
It is?
It's not made by Films Division, sir. I'm positive about it because we went through this whole thing. Even when we were trying to figure out what clips we should get and what.
It was sold earlier, certainly not now, because it is our film. I know for sure.
So you're saying it's actually owned by Films Division?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my also, whatever little I know. I think they own it.
Something about the rights to 9 months to freedom, which was given
There are two films,
to
Red Line
them.
Bangladesh and this one, was made by Film Division.
Oh, I think she gave it to them. She gave it to them at some point. I mean,
Yeah,
not clear
whatever.
about it. Sorry, but he didn't produce. Film Division didn't produce it. The government didn't produce it. He made it himself. But yeah, it does have this tone of. I know what you mean. So.
Also his engagement with directly the Prime Minister, and he's quite optimistic about documentary filmmaking.
See,
Does that still exist? I don't know.
You know, is that a question about documentary community or?
Yes, I mean, as people who are quite prolific with documentaries, I want to know if there's possibility of. Yes, I'm talking.
Me interviewing Narendra Modi?
Yes.
I don't intend to.
No. I'm just saying, is it a possibility of the state, even thinking that a documentary? I know the state obviously wants to ban the film, but having that sort of impact in this day and age as a filmmaker, like
See, also things have changed. At that point of time, getting an interview was kind of an exclusive thing. In today's time, don't forget, if you need a sound bite, let's put it this way, it's already available. If you want to project any person's political ideology, you just have to go to YouTube, and they've made 100 different speeches. You just take something, and that's it. So, as a device, also, filmmakers don't tend and pursue politicians. Okay, now give me this interview. Of course, depending on the project, they may do it, but it's I haven't come across films lately where filmmakers are doing that, because everything else is there in the public domain. Yeah.